diet is a great example. Both your long-term diet habits as well as short-term changes in your diet can lead to shifts in the kinds of microbes that you have. And as anyone that has ever been on a diet will tell you, while it may be difficult, we do have control over what we eat. Let's address the long-term impacts of diet on the gut microbiota first. A study by Gary Wu and collaborators showed that the general diet a person consumes over a year is strongly correlated with the composition of the gut microbiota. In this study, people who ate a lot of carbohydrates, things like pasta, potatoes, and sugars, tended to have a lot of Prevotella bacteria, which you can see in the figure on the right. While people who ate a lot of protein, especially meat, tended to have a lot of Bacteroides, which you can see on the left. An examination of the microbiota across nations and cultures by Yatsunenko and collaborators resulted in similar patterns. Africans from Malawi who eat mostly corn and Amerindians from Venezuela who eat mostly cassava also had a lot of Prevotella compared to people from the US and Europe who eat more meat and processed foods. You can see how their gut microbes separate on this plot. Based on these two studies, it seems that if your diet falls into a specific category, your microbes will fall into a category as well. However, short-term changes in diet also have an effect on the gut microbiota. In Wu's study, people that were fed a controlled diet that differed from their normal diet for 10 days experienced rapid changes in the abundances of different microbes in the gut. On the right, you can see how the dissimilarity between the samples of one person is high between day 1 and the other days as diet changes. These are the blue columns. Even so, you can see on the left that every person, represented by a different color, had a gut microbiota that still looked more like their original microbiota than like that of someone else. This means the observed changes were relatively minor. But a recent study by Turnbow and colleagues has demonstrated that a more extreme diet change can lead to more extreme microbiota changes over a short time. In this study, volunteers changed their diet dramatically for 3 days. Some volunteers went vegan. This is the left column of the graphs. And some ate a meat and cheese only diet. These are the right columns of the graph. The first 3 rows here show you fiber, fat, and protein intake for people on each diet over time. In the last row, you can see the changes in beta diversity or gut microbial community composition. The vegan diet caused a little change, but the meat and cheese diet caused big changes, almost overnight. Specifically, there was an increase in bacteria linked to cardiovascular disease, like Bilophila. Although we still don't know enough about how specific parts of our diet interact with specific microbes to be able to prescribe diets that alter the microbiome and ultimately improve our health, these baseline studies suggest that this type of intervention could become a reality someday.